we've been doing a series on miracles this year.
Come on.
And when I think about Chinese New Year,
Right.
it's like we had all the different components. We had, the welcome with Alvin and
Correct.
joy. No matter where you are around the world, no matter which culture, Happy New Year. You don't just go around to people New Year. You go up to people and wish them Hey New Year. It's like, no, that doesn't mean anything. You always wish people Happy New Year.
Right.
It's a joy.
That
And
is
then you had lunch sharing about family.
That's true.
Who do you celebrate? Particularly in Chinese New Year, you celebrate with your family. Amen.
That is true.
And then surprisingly, Matthew in contribution didn't talk about, the red bucket that was money.
Wow.
But, when we think of Chinese New Year, it's always money. Even the thing that Alvin was saying earlier, 恭喜发财,
There you go.
or like 恭喜发财. What it means literally is, and I think it's really cool, and it shows a lot about Chinese culture.
That is true.
We say that more often than Happy New Year, which is 新年快乐.
That is very true. Yeah.
We say 恭喜发财, which means congratulations on getting rich.
There you go.
You just walk up to people, congratulate. You don't know if they got rich this year, but congratulations on getting rich. Congratulate. You actually say that more than Happy New Year, which says a lot about our culture. So today we're going to talk about a miracle
Come on.
that is all about money.
Wow.
In Matthew 17, and it's not only about money. It's also about suddenly getting money.
Wow.
That's the best. I mean, everyone makes money. Everyone goes to work and gets money, but that's the boring way, right? Let's see how Jesus got money. He got money really fast. Matthew chapter 17, verse 24 to 27.
Right.
It says, after Jesus and his disciples arrived in Capernaum, the collectors of the 2 drachma temple tax came to Peter and asked, doesn't your teacher pay the temple tax? Yes, he does, he replied. When Peter came into the house, Jesus was the first to speak. What do you think, Simon? He asked. From whom do the kings of the earth collect duty and taxes? From their own children or from others? From others, Peter replied. Then the children are exempt, Jesus said to him. But so that we may not cause offense, go to the lake and throw out your line.
Yeah.
Take the first fish you catch, open its mouth, and you will find a 4 drachma coin.
Wow.
Take it and give it to them for my tax and yours.
Wow.
Once again, it's Jesus to the rescue.
Yeah.
When you think about it, what happened here is Peter had been caught in a trap. He walked up, minded his own business. When the tax collector, the IRS, IRD, or whatever like that, rocked up and was like, hey, you need to pay tax. And he didn't know what to do, so he was like, oh, okay, we will pay the tax. Turns out Jesus doesn't actually need to pay the tax because he's the Son of God. He's like, I'm, the Son, why am I paying, taxes from other people, right? Because I don't actually need to pay the tax.
Yeah.
But now, because of Peter's mistake, and Peter being flustered, making a mistake, and generally not being God, Jesus now needs to pay a 2 drachma tax. I actually have, Matthew, our dear brother Matthew, went over to Turkey for Christmas. And he bought me back this coin.
Wow.
It's supposed to be a drachma. I don't know which one, because apparently I looked it up. There are different drachmas. There was like a 1 drachma, a coin that's worth 1 drachma. There's a coin that's worth 2 drachmas.
Wow.
And there's a coin that's worth 4 drachmas.
Oh, wow.
And then it goes on and on and on. But basically there's this coin, and so suddenly Jesus come up with a coin out of nowhere. Maybe he had savings, maybe he didn't, maybe he was prepared for it, maybe he wasn't.
Come on, Jesus.
But all of a sudden, imagine your friend. You're traveling with your friend, you're coming to church, okay?
Yeah.
And you live a bit further away, you don't live in TST, surprisingly. And so you need to travel here.
Yeah.
And so you need to take public transport, unless again you're rich and you have a car or something like that. But say you don't, you're not the richest person, so you don't have a car.
Yeah.
Also, it's a convenience. Who drives TST anyway? But imagine you were on the train. Okay, maybe you get to the train station and you go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
And then the police comes up to your friend and goes, "Hey, are you guys traveling with octopus cards?"
Wow.
And you guys are traveling with octopus cards.
Yeah.
But then your friend, because he panics as the police, right, goes, "Oh no, we didn't." And they issue you and your friend a fine. You walk out of the toilet, you're like, walk out of the toilet, you're ready to go to church, and suddenly you owe the police $1,000.
What?
You're like, man.
I'm not paying.
You might be a little bit annoyed. You'd be like, man, at least maybe what? I will pay. But man, friend, you pay for my car. It was your fault anyway, right? So you should pay for it. You should find the money yourself. And yet Jesus here gives Peter a unique solution.
Wow.
Hey, Go to the lake, catch a fish. Inside the fish, inside the mouth, coin. I mean, you know how fishes go, right? Like, okay, maybe you catch a big fish, but what are the chances of you catching a big fish, right? So most of the time you catch a little fish. So inside whatever first fish you catch, inside of it, there will be a coin.
Wow.
This is exactly worth, no more, no less, for exactly the tax for both of us.
Wow.
You go in, okay, I can imagine fish eating a coin. But I went on a fishing trip once, and we caught like 10 fishes, or like 12 fishes, or something like that. Actually, my sister specifically caught 10 fishes. I think I caught like 2, or something like that. But most of the fishes you catch were like maybe that big, in a little river or lake or something like that. And only one fish we caught was like even slightly bigger. And even that one, the mouth, when the fish is that big, the mouth is like that big. You see the problem there?
Yeah.
Wow.
And yet, imagine that again today. You're back on the MTR. You have to find $1,000. And suddenly, it's like, man, your friend's like, hey, don't worry. Go downstairs, back to where the trains are at. Find the first garbage can you see.
Right.
Dig your hand inside, and you will find an envelope with $2,000 inside of it. Cash. You go like, what? That is like outrageous. That is such a weird way to solve the problem.
That's true.
When I think about it, it is so weird.
Yeah.
And yet Jesus calls us all the time, yet no matter how weird it gets, to obey him. So point number 1,
Come on.
do you think Jesus is weird?
Wow.
Do you think Jesus is weird? Spoiler, Jesus is super weird. He's the king. Jesus is the king
Yeah.
of creative solution.
Okay.
Imagine you're one of Peter's friends that day. You see the look on his face. Like Jesus tells him, hey, go to the lake. You'll catch a fish. Inside the fish will be money for both of us. Peter's like, are you being sarcastic right now? And you're a friend, you're like, you're these Jesus, right? So you have to go and obey him. You have to do it. You have to go to fish. And, imagine he's walking, the guy who's collecting temple tax. Hey, I thought I told you to pay the tax. Yeah, I'm on my way. Okay, how are you going to get the money? Oh, I'm going to go to the lake and catch a fish. You go, how many fishes do you need to catch until you have enough money? He goes, just one. Inside the fish will be money. The guys are looking at him going, what? What are you doing?
That's true.
And imagine that anticipation. Peter's like throwing his line out. Look, one line. Again, one line, one catch, right? One line. He's not even using a net, which is what he normally uses. One line. Imagine a moment when the fish catches. And he's like, oh, there's something. All his friends are like, oh, this is the one. And then he reels it in. Catches a fish. Maybe it's a small fish. Friends are like, ha, Jesus pranked you, bro. He opens the mouth. And then a coin comes out of it.
Wow.
And everyone, the Peter is shocked. Everyone around him is like, man, what? Again, you go to the garbage bin, reach inside, and there is an envelope, and you're like, you open it, and there is $4,000 inside. You're like, what? Or like 2,000 or whatever. Yeah. There's money inside it. There's lots of money. Okay, it's like $400 or $500. This is crazy. I mean, even to find like $10, if you reach inside and you find an envelope with $10, you go, this is amazing, right? And yet God often likes to work in completely nonsensical ways.
True.
Yeah.
1 Corinthians 1 verse 25 says, for the foolishness of God is wiser than human wisdom.
Wow.
And the weakness of God is stronger than human strength.
That's true.
Brothers and sisters, think of what you were when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were influential. Not many were of noble birth.
That's true.
But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong.
Yeah.
God chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things, and the things that are not, to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him.
Come on.
In fact, like why did Jesus tell Peter to go to a lake and catch a fish, and inside the fish you'll find a coin? He could have done something else, like, okay, you know how Jesus multiplied bread and fishes for like 5,000 people, right? He could just take the coin and go, boom, it's now 2 coins, or something like that, right? But no, he was like, no, go catch a fish, and inside the fish you'll find this coin. Why? Because he can.
That's true.
You think about other examples in the Bible. Moses parting the Red Sea. You are fleeing from an enemy army that wants to kill you and your family and your children. And you go, man, I've got a solution. We're going to walk into the desert. We're trying to go that way. We're going to walk that way into the desert. And then you're going to get to the desert and realize there's no way. So you're going to turn around.
Right.
But instead of going back, you're now going to go towards the ocean so that there's no escape. And then when you go to the ocean, there will be a magical new path that comes out of nowhere for you.
Wow.
It's completely illogical.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about Jericho, the story of Jericho. Take an army and walk around the city until the walls just automatically go away.
That's true. That's kind of true.
That's like you look at homework and go, this is hard homework. I'm going to walk around it 7 times and then my homework will finish.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Think about Jesus' resurrection. In order to save the world from all its evil, God himself is going to come to earth. Oh, this is a good step, good plan. He's going to allow evil to be done to him, and then he's going to die.
Right.
That does not sound like a great plan to destroy evil.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yet God's plans work, all of them.
Yeah.
Go to Joshua 21, verse 45.
Come on.
Not one of all the Lord's good promises to Israel failed. Every one was fulfilled.
Wow.
I think about incredible real-life examples
Come on.
about how, Aaron and Fun,
Yeah.
they got their entire plane tickets paid for.
Yeah.
Not by, finding the money first. So again, logically speaking, if you want to go on a holiday, you find the time, you find the money, and then you pay for it.
Yeah.
They were like, no, we're going to pay for it. God was like, no. They're going to pay for it first. And then after the holiday, the airline's going to do a mix-up that puts them on a different flight that arrives at the same time, exactly the same time as the original flight. And because of that mistake, they're going to get refunded their whole plane ticket and get extra money back. Man, it's like, if I told you that you can make money by going on a holiday, you wouldn't believe me.
Sure, that's true. What happened?
I think about one brother in Sydney, one of my friends. His dad got so mad at him, or mad about him being a Christian, that he called up the minister to threaten, I'm going to call the police on you. That's what happened. That's not good, right? But then, as a result of that conversation, phone call, they were able to have a really good conversation.
Come on.
And then even got his dad to end up coming out to church and coming out multiple times.
Wow.
And even to provide food for the service.
Come on.
That was
That's
good.
great.
It was good.
Come on.
I even think about my own story about coming to church.
Right
Come
on.
on.
My friend Liz and I were primary school friends, and we've been separated for 6 years. Okay,
Wow.
roughly 6 years. And all of high school, we were separated in different countries and stuff like that. And then we're in the same city again, so we're trying to meet up.
Yeah.
And we could never find a time that worked, ever. We tried for straight up 3-4 months. And we couldn't find a single time that worked between the two of us. Except for one time, Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m., which was church service at that time, Sunday service.
Wow.
And that's actually how I came to church. We just couldn't find a time to meet up to have lunch or something like that. She was so busy that I had to come to church.
Come on.
I mean, do you trust in God's weird ideas?
Oh.
John chapter 8, verse 31 to 32 says, to the Jews who had believed him, Jesus said, if you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Right.
You need to trust in God's weird ideas. Otherwise, you're not going to see the things he has planned.
That's true.
Even when it means sacrifice and perseverance.
Yeah.
Afterwards, you will see why.
Wow.
They say hindsight is 20/20. And this is especially true with God's plans. Romans 12, verse 1 to 2 says, therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is. His good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Come on.
I think of some of the weirdest accidents that have changed the whole world.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, these guys that have inventions or discoveries in science, they can't actually take any credit for it because it was completely by accident. I think about penicillin. Arguably, it's the first antibiotic ever. Treated so many, cured so many, allowed so many people to their lives to be saved.
That's true.
It was discovered because someone forgot to put his lab equipment away.
Yeah.
Someone forgot to clean up. Someone was untidy. And as a result, which you think, the world teaches you, if you're messy, untidy, unorganized, you're going to be unsuccessful. And yet that's exactly how he discovered penicillin.
That's true.
I think about the cardiac pacemaker. This is another invention that saves many lives. It's a device that they put into your chest, so some people's chest when you're old, to keep your heart beating regularly.
Right.
How did they discover it? This guy was trying to build a heartbeat detector detector to see when the heartbeat is measured. But he used the wrong ingredients, the components in the machine.
Wow.
And as a result, it became something that would beat for the heart.
Wow.
Which is like, what? That is completely backwards. I think about another invention that's completely changed the whole world.
Yeah.
Chocolate chip cookies. You know, it's actually invented. I was fascinated. It was invented because the person who was baking cookies, she was baking cookies for people, and she wasn't trying to make chocolate cookies.
Yeah.
And she ran out of the correct type of chocolate. And she only had this other type of chocolate that doesn't really melt.
Right.
So she put them into the cookie, and boom, chocolate chip cookies.
Wow.
Wow.
God bless.
I think about potato chips. If you guys love potato chips, you would, probably not live if you weren't potato chips and stuff. But it was invented because one day someone was a fussy eater. They ordered French fries. Except they didn't want French fries, they wanted thin French fries.
Wow.
And so the chef is like really annoyed, so he's like, okay, I'll cut you thinner French fries. The guy still was not happy. Man, still too thick. So the chef was like, you know what? This guy is annoying. I want him to get out of my restaurant. I'm going to cut some chips, some French fries that are so thin that it's impossible to eat them with a fork.
That's true.
It's so too thin. He cuts them super thin. The guy's like, man, I love this. And potato chips.
Wow.
So many things.
Come on, Chris. Come on.
It's so backwards. You go, man, this is the way things should be.
That's true.
And yet when it doesn't go according to plan or logic.
Yeah.
That's when greatness happens.
That's true. That's true.
Challenge. Find God's will for your life. Study the Bible with the Christian who invited you today after church. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
And I put it here as well. Stop fighting against God's plan for your life. Because there's a victory in surrender. Proverbs 21, 30 to 31. There is no wisdom, no insight, no plan that can succeed against the Lord.
Yeah.
The horse is made ready for the day of battle, but victory rests with the Lord.
Wow.
As my friend, one of my good friends once said, if God wants you to pass an exam, you won't fail.
Yeah.
But if God wants you to fail the exam, there is no way you can pass.
That's true.
He did end up passing his exam.
That's
Point number 2. Do you think Jesus is weird? Point number 1. Do you think Jesus is weird? Point number 2. God thinks you're weird. God thinks you're super weird. I mean, we'll talk against God in a sec, but when we think about it, humans do and accept many things that are actually very weird when you think about it.
Yes.
I was in Macau the other day, and we went to Macau famous for casinos and casinos and casinos. Okay, they literally take all the malls of Hong Kong and replace them all with casinos, and that's when you have Macau, right? And I was there, and I was thinking about, man, you think about the idea of gambling or like a slot machine.
Right.
If you got someone who's never seen a slot machine before, and you told him, hey, come in here first, you have to prove your age. Okay, it's weird, but you come in, and then you press this button or you pull this lever, and money comes out. And you go, okay, it's an ATM. It's an ATM, right? It's my money, right? No, it's someone else's money.
Right.
You go, what? That is so weird. Or gambling, I'm going to choose between two things that mean nothing to me. Black or red or white or up or down or big or small. These words mean nothing to me. They're just two different options. If I choose it, 50% of the time, I'll get money. It's like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing?
Yeah. Wow.
Think about pets.
Come on.
No shades to the rabbits. I have
Come on,
But when you think about it, pets are like you choose an animal that you cannot talk to or communicate with.
Fine.
That bring you, no measurable benefit. And you decide you're going to live with it
But that's so
until it
cute.
dies.
That's true.
When you think about clapping, we clap, right? Oh, yeah, congratulations, we clap, thank you. You are putting your hands together to express that you're happy.
Yeah.
If you think about it, this causes you a little bit of pain, doesn't it? Especially if you do some weird things.
Yeah.
You're doing this, and this means I'm happy. Why? That's so weird.
That's true.
Think about your name. You guys have really cool names.
Yeah.
But when you think about a name, your parents choose a noise
That's true.
that for the rest of your life is going to identify you and define you as who you are. That is weird.
Come on, soul.
Think about spicy food. Yeah! I ended up eating Thai food last night. And I was like, man, this is so weird. Let's put poison in our food, a chemical that is a poison that causes us pain.
It tastes good.
And the more pain, the more money I pay for it.
It's worth it.
Our Thai friends are like, yeah, let's go. But when you think about it, it's like, man, let's take something that inflicts pain.
Yeah.
Love it.
Come on.
Think about money. Even money, okay? You know, it is paper, printed paper, that we agree, all of us agree, are worth food or clothes.
Yeah.
Or if you give someone enough money, they can give you a house.
Yeah.
True.
If you just give them enough paper.
Yeah.
And you think about it, you go, okay. Think about some of our seasonal, our holiday traditions.
True.
Christmas tree. It is not only acceptable, it is cool to have a tree, a fully grown tree inside of your living room, but only in December. That is so weird.
That's true.
Think about Chinese New Year.
Wow.
You have your little red pockets or icy and stuff like that. Older people give younger people money for visiting them once a year
Yeah.
and saying scripted things that are insincere. And you know what they're gonna say. You're not creative. You're not paying them for a creative service. You're not paying them, for you're paying them to say something. You know what they're gonna say. Do you know what I mean? But you give them money to do it.
Yeah.
Sin is very weird.
Yeah.
Preach, bro.
Think about a few examples. Let's hurt the people
Wow.
that we love the most, and let's appreciate them the least.
Wow.
But if it's a total stranger, you gotta be nice to them.
Yeah.
In order to stop all the hate and all the hurt in the whole world, let's hate and hurt the people we think are the most responsible.
Right.
Let's add to the problem. In order to stop my problems, to solve my problems in my life, let me sit and think about how bad my life is because of this problem.
Whoa.
Let me sit here and worry about it.
Come on, bro.
Because imperfect human beings have hurt me, I've decided to stop loving a perfect God.
Yeah. Come on, bro.
Brother, this is one of my favorites. In order to be happy,
Wow.
let's spend all of our time in a job that we do not enjoy, with people we do not like,
Right.
and then complain and spread negativity about anyone who doesn't do the same thing as us.
Right.
And then we teach our children to do the same thing. And they will teach their kids to do the same thing. That's how we're gonna be happy.
Oh.
There's a famous story which goes, one day a fisherman was lying on a beautiful beach, pristine, with his fishing pole propped up in the sand, and one solitary line cast into the sparkling blue water.
Right.
He was enjoying the warmth of the afternoon sun and a prospect, the idea of catching a fish soon. About that time, a businessman came walking down the beach. He's trying to take the stress off by walking on the beach, makes sense. And he noticed the fisherman sitting on the beach and decided to find out why the fisherman was fishing instead of working harder to make a living for himself and his family. He goes, "You're not going to catch many fish that way," the businessman said to the fisherman. "You should be working rather than lying on the beach." The fisherman looked up at the businessman, smiled and replied, "And what will my reward be?" "Well, you can get bigger nets and catch even more fish," was the businessman's answer. "And what will my reward be?" asked the fisherman, still smiling. The businessman replied, "You will make money and you'll be able to buy a boat, which will then result in larger catches of fish."
Right.
"Then what will my reward be?" asked the fisherman again. The businessman was getting to be a little bit irritated with the fisherman's questions. "You buy a bigger boat and hire some people to work for you," he said. "And then what will my reward be?" repeated the fisherman. The businessman was getting angry. "Don't you understand? You can build up a fleet of fishing boats, sail all over the world, and let all your employees catch fish for you."
Right.
Once again, the fisherman asked, "And then what will my reward be?" The businessman was red with rage and shouted at the fisherman, "Don't you understand that you can become so rich that you will never have to work for your living again? You can spend all the rest of your days sitting on this beach, looking at the sunset. You won't have a care in the world." The fisherman, still smiling, looked up and said, "And what do you think I'm doing right now?" God looks at what we do and is totally confused. God knows everything. Yeah, but God's actually really confused about why we choose to live life the hard way, apart from God. Ezekiel 33:11. says, say to them, as surely as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but rather that they turn from their ways and live. Turn from your evil ways. Why will you die, people of Israel? God looks at sin and goes, why do you guys hurt each other? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Why do you guys choose to live life the suboptimal way? You know, he thinks it's weird that we worry. Don't we get everything from God? Matthew 6, 28 to 33. And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these.
Right.
If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. And I like to imagine Jesus that day was walking around and he sees people worrying, and he's like, people worrying? Flowers. People worrying? Flowers. He goes, can you see that? Can you see how God clothes the flowers?
Right.
And the flowers are like, whatever, right? Like, who cares about flowers? Some of you guys like flowers, but you know, God was like, these are flowers. There's so many of them. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You guys matter. Why are you worried? The flowers are fine.
Wow.
Like, you know, it's like some people go, man, I am so worried that I cannot seek first the kingdom.
Wow.
I cannot seek first God's righteousness because I've got too much going on in my life.
Right.
God's like, no. It's like, you know that meme where it's like, you know, you've got a deal offer or something like that. Have you guys seen that meme? No? No? Okay, absolutely no one here, not a single person that's here has seen that meme. Like there's one that's like trade offer or something like that. No, you guys haven't. Okay, you guys need to be educated. Anyways. But you know, it's like trade offer. On one hand, seek first God's kingdom and his righteousness.
Yeah.
Which by the way, it's not seek hard, right? It's not a quantifiable thing. It's like
Right.
literally make a decision. Okay?
Yeah.
Something we can choose to do.
Come on, bro.
Seek first. Make this choice. No worry for the rest of your life.
Right.
That sounds like a good deal. Like, you know, you do this, seek first God's kingdom, God's righteousness. You get no worry for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds like a really good deal.
Yeah.
Like, not worrying is not the problem. It's a reward. Okay?
Yeah.
So God is like, it's so weird. God thinks it's weird that we get afraid.
Yeah.
Didn't he create the world?
Wow.
Matthew 8, 23 to 27. Then he, Jesus, got into the boat and his disciples followed him. Suddenly a furious storm came up on the lake so that the waves swept over the boat. But Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him, saying, Lord, save us, we're going to drown.
Right.
He replied, you have little faith, why are you so afraid? Then he got up and rebuked the wind and the waves and was completely calm. The men were amazed and said, what kind of man is this? Even the wind and waves obey him.
Wow.
You know, note that here, Jesus actually said, why are you so afraid?
Yeah.
And then it says, then he got up.
Yes.
So he was laying there sleeping. His disciples woke him, we're gonna drown. And Jesus is like, what's your problem? All right, fine, I'll get up. Let's see what's going on. But he goes, why are you so afraid?
Right.
He goes, it's literally water. We're in a boat. Boats are meant to go on water. Like, even on a logical sense, he's like, this doesn't make any sense. Why are you afraid? You know, he thinks it's weird that we doubt. Isn't he the one who allows us to do anything?
Right.
Another one of my favorites, Matthew 14, 25 to 31 says, shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to him, take courage, it is I, don't be afraid. Lord, if it's you, Peter replied, tell me to come to you on the water. Come, he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus.
Right.
But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, Lord, save me. Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. You of little faith, he said, why did you doubt?
Right.
Jesus is like, why did you doubt? Weren't you the one who wanted to walk on water? Don't you know that when you're walking on water, you are on top of water, and normally when you're on top of water, you can sink? So why are you like panicking when that happens?
Right.
But he also goes, you had the faith to start. Why did you give up all of a sudden?
Right.
You asked me for a sign, I gave you the sign, which was, tell me to come, so Jesus goes, come, I answered your prayer, you come along, and then suddenly you're freaking out. What's going on? And you know, even better here, it says that Peter saw the wind.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen wind?
No.
I have never seen wind. So Jesus is literally going, you can literally see me, you can't see wind, but you are panicking and doubting and afraid. What is going on? You know, why do you look at God's way and consider it strange?
Wow.
You're the weird one.
That's true.
I think, you know, when you do the Bible studies, seeking God, one of the questions we ask people, do you want to be happy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, yeah, I want to be happy. You know, that sounds like great. You know, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And then there's some people like, I'm not sure if I want to be happy. And I'm always sitting there going,
Oh, okay.
that's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird. You know, do you want to be happy? Seek God.
That's true.
Yeah, come on.
Are you chasing the world's pleasures and money? Why? You know, if I told you that people who have wealth and money find it unfulfilling, you're not going to be surprised. No one here is going to be surprised if I say wealth doesn't bring you fulfillment.
That's true.
So why didn't you still chase it? That's so weird. You go, I've had no time to study the Bible. Well, again, trade deal. You're going to do the trade deal thing, okay?
Come on.
A month or two of your life, depending on how long you take to get around to it, to figure out the question, is Christianity the truth?
Yeah.
For the rest of your existence.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Either way, that's a good deal. Either you find out it's true and that's awesome, or you find out it's not true and you move on for the rest of your life.
Come on.
Again, time-wise, it's a good deal. It's a very short amount of time to figure out the secret of the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My challenge to everyone today, what is stopping you from putting God first?
Yeah.
And is it really worth it? Now, in conclusion, we had 2 points today. We look at this super weird miracle that Jesus did. Hey man, go fish in the sea, fish inside, and money comes out.
Wow.
Okay? Point number 1, do you think Jesus is weird? Because you gotta trust in the weird ways.
Yeah.
You gotta trust in the weird ways because they're the ones that work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Point number 2, God thinks you're weird.
Yeah.
So many of the things that you actually do and you accept that you think are normal, they are not normal.
Yeah. Come on.
What's weird and what's normal anyway? So it's time to study the Bible and follow God's way. And to God be all the glory. Amen.
Come on.
And